This video is sponsored by Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe. This is our Kawasaki A1 Samurai. This is a 250cc parallel twin two-stroke with rotary valves. We dug this bike out of a garage a couple weeks ago, brought it back here to the shop and tried to get it running. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but apparently this garage was underwater at one point and this bike was flooded. Makes sense because the engine is seized. So where we left off the other week was we got the pistons to move just a little bit. And that was after soaking in penetrating oil for a few days and adding heat every now and then. So here's where we're at. I let them soak another week, added heat to it as I saw fit. I also used Evaporust to help eat some of that rust away. We're back at it. We need to get these pistons to move so we can get the engine to turn over, so we can see if we have spark, so we can see if we can get this bike running. Yeah. Fingers crossed, guys. We get a couple good whacks on this thing, we can get it spinning freely, use the Kickstarter then, and we can move on to the next step of getting this bike running, because even though some may deem it unfixable, I don't think it is. Brings up a good point though, Dan. Let's discuss unfixable bikes here for a minute. What would make this bike unfixable? Well, let's put ourselves in the shoes of the average Joe. He gets this bike for free or next to nothing and thinks, you know what? This looks like a fun project. I'm gonna give it a whirl. And then it sits around, things happen, cats and rats move into your garage, pee all over everything. Life gets in the way. Then you try to start the bike one day and you realize it won't start. Then you realize, well, the engine's seized. So what does the average Joe do? Dan, what would you do?
Get rid of it.
Well, that's one way to not fix it.
Take it to a mechanic. I don't know what the correct answer is here. I've seen too much. I know what the...
You take it to a mechanic. Okay, so you start calling around to different mechanics. A Kawasaki dealer's not gonna wanna touch this bike. Most independent shops probably aren't gonna wanna touch it, especially once you tell them that the motor's locked up. And if they do, they're gonna give you what most referred to as an FU price to get the bike running and fixed. That means they just don't want to do it unless you're dumb enough to spend all the money. So now you're in a predicament. You called 3, 4, 5, 6, 15 different shops and they're all telling you the same thing. So what, you have this bike here, you know, clean it up, have it running, working, $2,500 maybe. You know, so investing $3, $4, $5, $6,000 at a shop, it's just not feasible. There's no sense to it. So nobody's gonna do it. So I think that puts this bike in the unfixable category for most people. However, I'm not like most people, and I got a big hammer and a piece of wood, nothing better to do. So I'm gonna get these pistons unstuck and we're gonna get this bike fired up.
Nothing better to do.
I am really curious. Guys, like I said, these have been soaking now for all but 2 weeks. I pulled the plug on the last video early because I was being sincere. I do like this bike and I don't want to do any unnecessary harm. But I also think that we all agree that, especially now that I know this, it was in a flood. That changes things. I wish I would have known that before. I gotta listen more. Anyway, I think we can all agree that this is a nice bike and somebody out there is gonna give it the love it deserves. I'll find that guy. But he is gonna have to go in and redo this engine. Again, these cylinders need cleaned up good. I'm sure crank seals need replaced. It just needs a good overhauling. So, what we're doing here is not hurting a thing. It's actually helping.
How is it helping?
I have no idea. What's gonna happen? Jeez, let me come knock this one down. Okay, we're revealing transfer ports. See the transfer ports there on the side? Okay, now that we have that cleaned up the best we can, let's knock it down on the other side again. A lot of back and forth here. What I could do now maybe is pull this cylinder off, but let me clean this up here quick. I'd rather not break that gasket if I don't have to right now. See if I can do this once or twice and then get a good revolution out of this motor. If I can, I'm gonna leave the cylinder on. Let's see, I don't know, Dan. Let's put this kicker on. Maybe we'll get lucky. We're getting some movement. All right, let's see, what are the chances? Can we get any love? No, none. All right, let's take this a different approach. Let's pop this exhaust off. All right, let's pop these off. Man, we are so close.
Doing anything?
It's moving. You want to be careful as far as like, you can't really spin it, but spinning is tough too on a two-stroke because there's locating pins on the cylinder that hold the rings in place. So if you go to spin, you can break a ring pretty easy. So, yeah, we're getting,
Get it out, Craig.
Man, we are getting so close. Now it's gonna like fly off and bust my teeth out.
That would be a fitting end
Right?
to the Samurai stuck engine saga.
Punch you in the face. Another bite.
All it needs to do is whip out a blade and cut you.
Man, dude, we are so close. This thing is fighting us to the end, though.
お前は
Yeah! Get that bad boy out of there.
Jeez. Huh? There it is.
She doesn't look too bad. Oh, but this one, on the other hand, it's almost like you've been beating the snot out of it with a block of wood.
We can clean that up. Don't look at any of that dirt and stuff. We're not,
Don't look at that?
we're not,
You mean that?
like all this dirt going in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not building an F1 car here. Nothing a quick dinkle ball hone can't fix. I saw a comment and somebody was like, well, you're never gonna see that bike again. I was like, what? Think I'm gonna leave a stuck bike stuck? You crazy. Wow, there is a lot of buildup on that piston. Nothing a little emery cloth can't fix, right? Let's see how stupid of an idea this is. Stupid like Fox. Takes off that buildup rather nicely. I'm not going crazy here. I'm just tickling it. Just giving it the whiff. Whoever ends up with this bike and rebuilds it, restores it, does whatever they do with it, is going to be able to reuse these pistons. They're actually that good a shape. Let's let that chooch in some cleaner here.
Get it in there, Craig. That's why they call it a lubricant, not a lubricant.
That's right. Dan, coming up big.
Actually, it is spelled lubricant, but don't worry about that.
Dan, if everything made sense, things that made sense would simply make sense. And over time, the things that make sense, we would know it because of the sense that they've made.
Craig Fuchsia say. Kamala, what's
That was
going
my
on?
best Kamala impression.
You need to get to go and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home.
These head pipes
Yeah.
slip into the mufflers. They're screwed onto the heads. So I like a block of wood for on here. Bink, bink, bink. And you know that's not gonna screw up. You're not gonna get chisel marks or hammer marks or anything on your exhaust flanges.
Wow. It's not just a pro tip, that's like a double pro tip. Pro tip.
Okay, so now that that's off, look at that. Okay. Quit clowning around, Dan. We got work to do. All right, let me get this on there.
Come on. Pop that thing out easy. Let's go.
Did you fart?
No. How would we even hear a fart while you're doing that?
I didn't hear it. You ready?
Yep. There we go.
Wow. That is a lot of buildup. Whew, that's the, oh, smell that.
Is that what was farting?
I think that's what I was getting at.
Accusing me of ripping one. Okay, yeah, I can smell it. That's pretty bad.
Let me throw this in the vise and let's give it a dingle ball. Dingle ball hone.
Yeah.
Like new. Look at that.
Well, that's very satisfying.
There's a lot of buildup on these.
Remember, kids, ever so ginger.
Yeah, just a whiff here. We're not going crazy. So that took the big chunks off. And then for the small ones, we're gonna clean them up with this. So the other thing I need to do is make sure that these rings move and they're not stuck. Because then the next thing is, if they're stuck, we'll put this all back together and we won't have any compression. And you know what happens when we don't have compression, right?
It's not gonna run.
It's not gonna run. So here's what we're gonna do. We get these fairly clean and then just let them soak a little bit in this stuff. Some magical potion. We'll clean those when we get back. I need to let these soak here a little bit and go get some food in Dan's belly or he gets hangry.
I'm already angry.
We'll be back in a few. So we ran and grabbed Dan a cheeseburger that actually included a trip to Texas and then California because we found some awesome old dirt bikes. And now we're back.
Actually, if you're watching, that would be the last video.
Oh, the old dirt bikes.
Yeah.
They were awesome, weren't they? Definitely worth the trip. And you can get In-N-Out Burger out in California. But I have a note here from Greg, and this doesn't look good because there's pieces.
I love how Greg leaves notes.
I know, me too. Good news, I worked on freeing up the piston rings. Bad news, I broke the piston rings. Good news, there's some on eBay. Good luck, Greg. If only there was a way to see how that happened. We didn't set up this new security system just to spy on Greg. I knew we had a big trip coming up and I wanted the peace of mind while we were away. One time I almost had my storage unit broken into and that would have been devastating. So I wanted a solution that wouldn't let this happen in my own shop. That's why I went with Simply Safe. Their security systems are easy to install, comprehensive, and affordable. Protection plans start at less than $1 a day with no hidden fees ever. And with 24/7 professional monitoring, Simply Safe agents are ready to jump into action within 5 seconds of receiving an alarm. Whether that means contacting you, dispatching first responders, or even speaking to the intruders in real time via the smart alarm camera, Simply Safe has you covered. Now, all this equipment took Dan less than an hour to set up. I would have had it done a little bit quicker if I'm being honest, but I didn't want to. So if Dan wasn't gonna do it, I was gonna have one of Simply Safe's pros come and do it for me. Whether you're looking for indoor, outdoor cameras, motion sensors, glass break sensors, water leaking sensors, video doorbells, whatever your security need is, Simply Safe has you covered. Click the link in the description to save 50% off your system, plus a free indoor security camera and your first month free when you sign up for core monitoring. Visit simplysafe.com/mechanic to customize your system today. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Now let's get back to this bike and see if we can get it to fire up. All right, so we got broken pieces. Thanks, Greg. Question is, where did he put the other piston? Ah, here it is. Okay, well, we got these rings freed up. Oh, that's fantabulous. Look at that, they're gonna work again.
Nice.
Nice. I guess we gotta get the carbs off and get those clean. That's gonna be step one. Let's do that quick. Oh, it'd be nice to put the table up in the air too, but while we were gone, the air compressor broke, so yay. Oh, well, here's something I noticed. Here, look at this, before we take anything apart. Okay. See how this slide is, it's down all the way?
Yes.
All right, now let's look at the other slide. Look, see how this one's hanging up? So we gotta figure why that's hanging up, which I'm sure we'll figure out when we take it apart. Pull the carb. You know what, Dan?
What?
We don't even have a flat surface to work on anything.
What?
All right, to the little 1x1 foot square we have.
Oh, there we go.
Nailed it. Grab one of Greg's notebooks. And another thing that happened, a neat thing that happened this last week or so while we were gone is I caught an ear infection and a sinus infection. And that's been wonderful the last few days. There's a lot of yays going on in this video. Wow, dude.
That don't look bad.
That doesn't look bad at all.
Craig, yeah. I don't think it needs fixed. I think you just got to put that thing back on.
Put that thing back together?
It'll be fine.
Call it a day. Let's see if that theory holds true. Pilot jet, can I see through it? Hold it. I'm gonna take your advice. With the pilot jet being so clean, man, we're screwing this thing back together and putting it back on the bike.
Comment below if you like it when Craig takes my advice.
The Dan fam is gonna...
That's what we need. More times when Craig takes my advice. It's because it's usually just slap it back together, it'll be fine.
That's a hoot. That's fantastic.
You're halfway there.
Halfway there. Can't even blow air through it with the compressor being broke.
That's the most satisfying carb removal and inspection I've ever seen.
Good. Glad I could marvel you. Let's see what we got on the other side. On these old Kawasaki's, or these banjo fittings get awful brittle on the oil and fuel systems. And if you break one, you're kind of SOL because you can't get them anymore. You have to find something that will work as a replacement, and it's just not super handy. So you want to be careful with all the different little banjo fittings. Okay, this slide, yeah, see we got some goo on there.
Just a little bit of goo.
It's not bad. Okay, this one here, I'm noticing there's a little bit more gunk to things, but it's still liquid, so that's a good sign. It smells like mouse pee.
I would trust you with that assessment, Craig. You're a mouse pea connoisseur.
I stopped in here last night and I was greeted at the front door by either a small opossum or a big rat. Not sure.
Sure it wasn't a really ugly cat.
Got its tail, like all the fur feathers fell off.
Yeah. What did it say when it greeted you? This is the final test to find out what it was.
Fell over and played dead and went meow. But it had a piece of cheese in its mouth, so I don't know, I'm really confused.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's actually not horrible either.
It's beautiful.
How did we get so lucky?
We got the best carbs.
These are honestly, like, just hold on here for a second. This was without a doubt the worst stuck motor we've had. That thing was stuck. But these carbs are next to pristine.
Why would that be?
It's a great question. Did they drain the fuel? Dude. This one here is a little spoogy, so we are gonna clean it out a bit. But dude.
Well, you know what this means, Craig?
What's that?
It means if you find a Samurai for sale and it's in really bad condition, you should get it because the carbs are guaranteed to look amazing.
Right. I'm sure by this one example, that is definitely a true.
Well, it was true across both carbs, so it has to be true.
Oh yeah, so we have a set of, yeah.
2 data points for one.
Right, generally
that's how statistics work.
Here's a little story for you. I failed business statistics too. It wasn't my fault. That was the year that Tony Hawk skateboarding came out on the thing. We
all were failing business statistics.
I will say, I think I did have high campus score at one time. The important things.
So what you guys did when Tony Hawk came out, you all compared scores across campus?
Yeah, the cool kids did. I don't know what the other kids did. I think we're getting close to saying we've cleaned more carbs than anybody else on YouTube. If there's a record for who has cleaned the most motorcycle carburetors on YouTube, I think I would win that record. All right, there, just like that, it works. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clean up this piston. The other piston's ready to go. I'm gonna throw that on the bike. I'm gonna put the cylinder on. For right now, what I wanna do, I'm gonna actually put this back on the bike and put this cylinder on as well. There's gonna be a little slop in it, but I'm gonna take it real nice and easy. I'm gonna work through the kicker and I'm gonna check spark. There's no sense I wait till these rings come and then get back working on this just to realize I don't have spark. So I might as well just try to do all that now, because then I know. And like G.I. Joe said.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe!
Man, there was a lot of dirt in there. Still a lot of dirt in there. I feel like I could do that for another 45 minutes. Normally I would use my blowgun. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the piston on, cylinders on. There's gonna be some slop here, not much, but a little bit. But I can at least then work the kicker, get things moving, and we're gonna go for spark next.
Loving it.
Are ya? Because if you are, I am.
Then yeah, Craig.
Yeah!
Yeah, I'm loving it.
A little oil just so things kind of go a little smoother. Actually, before we do that, let's knock this out and clean it, because I don't want to fight that pin, that wrist pin. It's such a tight fit. Like, it should just really kind of push in and out. You shouldn't have to hammer it in and out. So let's take that kind of stuff off of it, and hopefully it'll work better for us. probably preface this by saying this is a freshly rebuilt engine and it's going back together for the last time or any time. You don't want to be hitting on the piston pin like that or the wrist pin like that because it's just putting a lot of load on the bearing, on the small end bearing and the big end bearing. So that's not really the ideal way to do it, but you know, for this project right here, let's get that clip in. Make sure your piston pin clips are in. Triple, double, quadruple, bazillion, $1 million. Check that. That's important. All the gazillion, zillions. Okay, now this one here, same thing. Cylinders are nice and clean. Okay, there we go. Yes, it's one side. Next side's gonna be a lot easier because we don't have piston rings yet. So this just goes like this, watch. Like that. Okay.
Easy.
Easy. Next, we're gonna run these back down in just so that the cylinders don't go anywhere. Okay, now hopefully the kicker works. Yo!
Hey.
All right.
We are moving.
That is what we wanted to see, my friends. Hot darn. Hot diggity darn. Okay, so now that we can use the kicker like this, we can see if we got sparks out of the sparkers. All right, here we go. Contact. No. All right. Shoot. All right. Well, I don't know. Maybe, do we need a battery? So maybe we just have dirty points. So we give them a cleaning. Let's turn that on. Oh.
Oh, lights are coming on. We got a light back here.
Do you?
Yeah. What's the beep?
Oh, we're out of juice.
What? Already?
All right. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Seeing what I'm seeing?
I see it. It's faint, but it's there.
Faint, but it's there. Check this side. Oh.
Oh.
It's like your father's love for you. It's faint, but it's there.
Dang, Craig, that's gonna hit home, too close to home for some people.
Okay. So the only other thing we need is a set of rings. Oh man, that's exciting.
This samurai will bring honor yet again.
It will. And we should have rings in a day or so. We have spark. Carbs looked good. I think we're set. Like, I think once we get these rings and throw them on, we can bolt these heads back together, put the exhaust on, fire this bike up.
I think so too.
Nice.
Right until we run into the next problem. I'm sorry, there we go.
Rings just came in. Check out this,
Yay.
dude. How cool is that? New old stock parts are awesome. I'm gonna throw these in really quick and then we're gonna start buttoning stuff up. I have the gas tank soaking. We got spark, we got this, will give us compression. All right, cool, here we go. So we got a problem here. What's going on? Why won't this ring seat in?
You're saying the ring doesn't fit?
I think I just have a little bit of buildup yet in this ring groove.
Is it on? It's just not seating?
Right, yeah, it's on. It just didn't want to go like sit in. I wouldn't have been able to get the cylinder on. Good luck, Dan. You're not gonna get a good angle of this.
All right, that's it.
You're
I'm
trying.
putting the camera down. Greg, what's up? What do you got?
Where were you?
I just barely caught it. Huh? Oh, I was doing stuff. Don't worry about it.
I finally got it.
Totally wasn't motorcycle shopping.
Yes, all right. So those rings just fought me a little bit because of the, just the buildup and the dirt and the grime. But I got it figured out. So I gotta tighten that up. I gotta tighten carburetor up. What do we need to do on this side? Same thing. Okay, awesome. Now, we are back to where we were when we first got this bike, except now it goes.
Whoa.
That's the thing.
That sounds good, right? We haven't heard that before.
Haven't heard that before. All right, cool. Let me button up this carburetor here quick on both sides. Okay, What else do we got? All right, we got this side of stuff. Okay, everything seems to be going well there. So this is our air cleaner. It's not good, but you know what? For purpose of what we're doing, this might just work. That'll do it. So that thing just is gonna clip back on here. On.
Hey, we got lights. Oh!
Horn works. Take that, Dan. Oh, look at that. Look, and the high beam is, instead of blue, it's red. That's kind of cool. High beam's working up in the fronts here. Oh, we got tail light back here in the backs. If I push this, does that tail light back there get brighter?
Yes.
No way.
It does.
So we got brake lights. All right, Dan. So we need a tank and a chain.
That's it?
Think so.
Wow.
What do you think this tank looks like on the inside by now? I think we can use that. Oh, I can't use this at the moment.
Why?
Because my air compressor's broke, remember?
Oh, yeah. Silly Craig.
Peas and biscuits. How does an air compressor, like I shut my air compressor off when we went away, I come back home, I turn it on and it starts leaking. Like what?
I don't know what to tell you. Things just break.
So, here's what we're gonna do. Over the weekend, I'm gonna fix my air compressor, I'm gonna clean the tank, I'm gonna get it put on here. See you Monday morning.
All right, what happened, Craig?
Okay, so we have the tank clean, petcock's clean. That's back on. I gotta throw the seat on, batteries in, oils in, chains on. Getting to be our favorite time of the video, Dan.
Oh, the part where you clean up the bench.
Yeah. Really excited to hear this thing run. Fingers crossed it runs. It'll run.
Will it run though?
Hope so. We did an awful lot of work and they watched an awful lot of video for this thing not to run.
That's a good point. They've watched an awful lot of video to see a bike not run before. It could happen again, unless you skipped ahead, in which case you're a cheater.
This side cover is our last piece of the puzzle. Now it's time for everybody's favorite part of the video. Let's get this table cleaned off so we can fire up this bike.
Oh boy. Craig, clean this up, clean this up. Over here, what I'm pointing at. Oh my gosh, you're the worst. Clean up the screw.
All right, Dan. We should put some air in the tire. I think the front tire went flat.
With your working air compressor?
Yeah, I have it on. It just leaks, so it just runs a bunch. That should hold enough to do what we want to do here. Here we go. Oh yeah, dude! How flippin' cool is this thing, man?
Pretty neato.
It is pretty neato, isn't it? Dan, how many kicks?
How many letters are in Kawasaki? 7. Wait, no, 8.
8. I'm going 12.
You're going higher than me?
I'm going higher.
Be a little more optimistic than you. We're gonna change things up.
Here we go. And now we kick.
And now we kick.
And now we kick until it starts and smokes out the shop. All right, here we go.
I wouldn't mind that with how many bugs are in my face.
Yo!
Well, I wasn't counting. What was that, 3?
That was 2.
That was 2. Holy cow. Come on, Craig.
5, 6.
If you don't start it up in this next kick.
Oh shoot, we're leaking gas. All right, so here, hold on. Is that gas we're leaking?
That's something we're leaking. There's a puddle.
I'm gonna turn the gas off. I'm gonna go full throttle in case it was flooded. Hey! That was number 8. 9!
I actually think that was 10.
Was it?
Yeah. That was your guess. 13. 14. Okay, it's getting worse. Well, you're already smoking.
Honestly, sounds like maybe the exhaust pipes back through here are plugged up and stuff. Like it's like it wants to start, but it's just not getting anything out there.
I'll just take the exhaust pipes off then.
I'm thinking about it.
Ooh! I need to watch back here. I think you were blowing some chunks out.
Oh yeah?
I think so.
Okay.
It wants it.
Woo, it wants it.
You want me to get you a drip pan?
Nah.
Started the bike. Woo-wee! Doesn't really stay started yet, but got close.
The petcock was clogged. The tank was really dirty. So we're just doing the best we can here. See what the plugs look like. Spark plug cap's a little janky, kind of like everything else here. Okay, we lost spark. Well, I got shocked. Okay, that one's firing. Can you give the bike, can you cycle through the kicker for me? Okay. Are you seeing spark on this one, on that, your side?
I'll look. No.
So we're getting spark on one, not the other. That'll make it tricky to start.
Do you have any theories on like...
Why one quit working? Coil would be a theory. Bad spark plug wire, bad spark plug cap.
Somewhere in the process of...
Putting the tank on, maybe I knocked something loose.
Of moving around maybe the spark plug cap. You could have messed it up.
Wait a second. I think I figured it out, Dan.
What did you do?
There's supposed to be a gap between this electrode here, and look, there's not. I didn't look when it came out of the box. Here, see this? Look, see how that one has a gap? Oh, you know what? I bet you here, look. It's a piece of this breeze. I bet you it's just a piece of carbon. Now that should spark. Those pipes could be plugged up. Now let's see what happens again. Come on, come on, come on!
Get it smoky before the burnout. What'd you do?
Put it in gear.
Oh, didn't like that.
Didn't like that at all.
Turn on, I'm not gonna go.
Dan.
That's a running bike, Craig.
Yeah, it doesn't like going in the first. Clutch is stuck. Look at that though, first kick.
Let's take the win, Craig.
Yeah. And there you have it, we got it running. There's nothing like saving another old motorcycle from the garage. We got it running, the clutch is stuck, so in order to get the clutch unstuck, I have to pull this all apart again over here, and the clutch apart, and yada, yada, yada. And it's just gonna stay stuck. The next guy can worry about it. Guys, thanks for watching. Simply Safe, thanks for sponsoring the video. Check them out, I'll put a link in the description for you. Dan's gonna put a video here and here. Check it out, I know you're gonna love it. Have a great weekend, see you later.